Podcast Answer Man, iPhone applications. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Podcast Answer Man. My name is Cliff Ravenscraft, and I am here today with yet another interview. And today, I think this one's going to be something that many of you are going to be very happy to hear, and that is, how on earth did I get an iPhone application for my podcast over in iTunes in the App Store? And today, I'm going to interview the guy who made it all happen. All right, folks, so today, like I said, I am bringing on James. He happens to be the person who developed my iPhone application that is you can find over in iTunes. You simply go to iTunes Music Store, type in the words GSPN or gspn.tv, and it'll show you my application in the App Store. So, James, welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks for having me on.
Now, do you mind if I ask, real quickly here, how long have you been developing software?
Well, I've been developing software since I was, I guess sixth grade would probably be when I started. I mean, I've been making web pages since I was like 5 or 6. But right when the iPhone SDK came out, I really just started picking that up, and I fell in love with it. And I don't know, I started making applications, and that's when I met you, and I decided to create the application for you over the summer. And from there, I just been doing it. I mean, I love it.
Awesome. Now, let's see. Are you in college now? Am I correct in thinking that?
Yeah, I'm a freshman. I go to Penn State. I'm studying computer information sciences and technology. So, I mean, this is what I want to do with my life. But, I mean, I guess I might as well start now. I mean, I love doing it, and it's a good way to, like, meet people and, create some cool products.
Very, very cool. Just so we can start off and make sure that I don't forget the important stuff here right up front, tell people what the name of your company is and your website address.
Okay, well, we just started, me and my web developer started a new company like a couple weeks ago. It's called Zapps, XZAPPS.com. And what it is we have a couple cool, innovative iPhone applications that we're going to create. And the first one is the ability, we call it the 2-minute iPhone application. And what you can do is, if you have a podcast, all you have to do is send us over your RSS feed, a little bit like a description and a title that has to be less than 12 letters. And within 2 business days, you'll have the code. You'll actually own the source code to an iPhone application pretty much exactly like yours on gspn.tv. And with that code, you can upload it to the App Store if you want. Or if you don't want that feature, we can actually do it for you for your listeners at no cost. But we'll go into that later.
Absolutely. So let's back up just a little bit. I definitely want to hear about this new service. I'd love to first explain to people and have a conversation about the initial process of developing the iPhone that we did. Now, I give you a unique challenge. Not only did I have, we have about 24 podcasts that I produce, and we had an all-inclusive feed, which of course is available to everybody for free. So it would have been very easy for you, I guess, to create an iPhone application based upon one maybe you've already worked on for everybody else, simply by giving you the URL for the feed for that free podcast. But I threw something different at you. I said, listen, not only do I want to have my listeners be able to download and see all the stuff that's free, but I have people who are paying me $10 a month to have access to content that I don't release for free, and I'd love for those people to be able to do that. And of course, those podcast feeds are all password protected with a username and password. Tell me, what kind of challenge did that present for you?
Well, the first thing I had to do was learn how you were actually authenticating your users. And me and you have discussed it. And once we figured it out, I figured that we needed to save the username somehow. So what I did was I added a new screen into my podcast framework, and you can, input your username and password, and then it would check to make sure that the username and password were valid. And it did that on the main screen. If it was valid, it showed, the password protected feed, and you got all the content. And if it didn't work, nothing would show up, and you inputted something wrong. So it was difficult because I was still very new at programming for the iPhone. So I mean, all these little challenges have helped me just learn over the past couple, almost past year now.
Absolutely. So you were able to figure it out. I explained to you the details of the behind the scenes work on how I'm actually locking out the content so people can't get in unless they're authenticated members. And you worked on that, and we went back and forth and worked out some details and tweaked things so that the gspn.tv had lowercase instead of the capitalization.
Yeah.
So you worked with me,
Yeah.
customized, fit the application to meet what I had wanted and desired from it. And we won't discuss cost here. If people are interested in cost, they can talk to you about the cost of personalized, customizable services. And we'll also get into talking about this new web service that you're getting ready to launch on Monday, which is already launched for those of you listening via podcast. We happen to be streaming out live on the internet right now as well. So there are people that are listening live that'll have to wait until, I guess, Monday. Is that correct?
Yes, the service is going to launch Monday. It actually happens to coincide with my 19th birthday, so
very
figured
cool.
we'd do that too.
Happy birthday, man!
Thank you.
So this is awesome stuff. You worked with me, and we got this application. We tested it. It was bug proof. We're good to go. We submitted it to Apple, and explained to folks what happened from that point.
Okay, well, what happened was there was I believe I was the first person who created a podcasting application for the phone. I created one it was just an application for me. And from that, I met another person that decided they wanted this service. And I created a podcasting application for them, and I put it on the store. And then I came in contact with you. And what happened was Apple decided that they didn't want to let these podcasting applications on the store anymore. I'm not really sure why, but I mean, it's Apple's decision, and they said no. So what I did was I felt terrible, so I believe that I refunded you your money.
No, we actually didn't do anything like that. But what you did in our scenario, in my scenario, is that we actually released it to the jailbroken community.
Oh yeah, we had to do that. Okay. Yeah, so we put it on Cydia, the jailbroken community, and that worked good. You were getting some good downloads, but it could have been better. But then I believe it was another month and a half later, I got a couple phone calls from a number in Cupertino, and I wasn't really sure. I missed them. And then I got an email from a lady at Apple not saying that they made a mistake, but saying that I should resubmit the applications, and they'll re-look at them.
Right.
So I let you know, and I resubmitted your application, and they put it on the store. And I don't know really why they did that, but it was a little bit of a problem, and it just held you up for another month and a half.
Yeah, and not only that, but in the kindest way possible, Apple totally screwed me on this one, and it had no fault of James whatsoever. And let me explain to you what I mean by that. And that's about the harshest language you'll ever get here on the podcast Answer Man, by the way. But anyway, we released it to the jailbroken community, and I will tell you, I use web analytics, and so I'm able to see who's coming from where. And there's an episode, I believe it was episode number 80, where I did a screencast tutorial for Podcast Answer Man. You can go back and check it out at podcastanswerman.com. But I check out Google Analytics, and I saw that we literally had approximately 6,000, 7,000 people per week that were actually downloading the jailbroken software. So 6,000, 7,000 people per week that were downloading this thing. So that was a great bit of exposure in the jailbroken community. However, I must admit that my intended audience probably isn't the jailbroken community. So I did see a little bump in the numbers as far as subscribers, and probably we may have gained maybe 500, 600 ongoing subscribers as a result of being released in the jailbroken community. But back when I originally ordered this thing and when we submitted the final product to Apple, it was, I think, back in August. It was only a couple months in. There were only like maybe 150, 160 applications in the entertainment category, with literally millions upon millions of iPhones out there and hundreds of thousands of people every day checking the App Store nonstop every single day to see what is the latest and greatest application released in the entertainment category. It was I know I personally went there even before I even thought of getting my own application. Every day it's like, let me check out the new releases today. So what happened was obviously they turned it down. And then finally they came back a month and a half later and they said, let us reevaluate this. They finally approved us in October or November or whenever it was. And the problem is they chose to leave the release date back in August. And so there was absolutely no exposure whatsoever for us as a newly released application. It was a total bummer. I will tell you that today probably about maybe 700 or 800 people have downloaded the application probably. I have no clue. James, you might know.
Oh, I can actually get those numbers for you.
Yeah, you don't have to do it now, but
yeah, I can get them and send them over to you, definitely.
That would be great.
They've been refining their way of sending download numbers to the developers. Originally, that you can only get a monthly report. Then they changed it to weekly, and now you could actually get a daily report, which is nice.
Yeah, I don't need any daily. I'd love to just know total from the time we released it until, just current, how many people have done that if you want to email that over. But here's the deal is that I personally believe that chances are people had to specifically look for GSPN or podcast or something specific to me to even download it, which is awesome. I mean, my Plus members have the application and they love it. And other community members who are not Plus members but still have access to the free feeds, they love it. So it works out extremely well. The thing is back when you were developing this, there were some limitations and some struggles that you had in trying to figure out the whole podcasting world. I mean, your history wasn't in podcasting, right?
No, I mean, I've never really worked with podcasting. I just understood the whole RSS and XML, like the technology behind it. I mean, I listen to podcasts. I listen to a decent amount of podcasts, actually. But I didn't really have much experience.
So, of course, there wasn't the functionality, I believe, that was available to you as far as programming at the time on how to download these things so that they're actually stored in memory. So, in essence, we have a lot of people who are currently using the existing GSPN.TV application as it exists today. And what they'll do, especially for iPod Touch users, so what they do is they're at the office getting ready to leave to go home. They understand because of Twitter, I've released 2 new episodes, but they want to listen to the most recent, let's just say, Weekly Lost podcast. And so they click the download button, they wait for it to download into the cache, and then they get in the car and they hit play. But if they close that application out, when they go to launch it again in the car, obviously they're not going to have it there. So have you made any improvements upon the functionality of being maybe to even, or have you considered the download feature?
Yes, I have. In the new version, we actually implemented download. So you can either stream the feed or you can download it. And what I do is I take the file and I just store the data into actually a database. So what you have is 2 tabs. You have the regular tab that it normally looks like, and then you also have the downloaded tab. And if you're going to have a progress bar, so you're going to be able to see how much longer it's going to take. And if you close out the application and come back in, that it's still going to be saved there.
And can you do that on more than one podcast, or are we limited to one?
No, you can download as much as you want.
Okay.
I mean, it should be perfectly fine.
All right. And then the other question is, obviously, when you're done listening, I assume there's a feature to delete that then after you're finished.
Yes. I know there's a big problem with that because there's not too much space on the phone. Mm-hmm. But yeah, you can definitely delete it just like you would delete a contact or anything. It uses the normal iPhone features. You can just slide your finger across or hit edit, delete.
Sure. Now, the GSPN.TV application that you released for me, is that going to be upgraded to have that download functionality?
Yes, it is. I'm just finishing off the latest details, just doing a little bug fixing, but yours will be updated. So
Awesome.
Your users will be able to download everything. And I mean, I told you when we first did the application that if I did any updates, especially a major update, you'd be accommodated.
Absolutely.
Another nice feature in this version is I redid the entire way it reads the files. So it does it a lot faster. It does it at least 10 times faster.
Great.
Because Apple created a new way, and they opened the framework up, or the SDK up a little bit. So it made it a lot easier for me.
Very cool. I have one other question for you, and I'm not sure if it's something you've thought about or if it's even technically possible, with the limitations of the SDK. But is it possible that when people, I recognize the streaming is not going to do it, but if you download it and you actually click the button to play the downloaded MP3 file, obviously the MP3 contains what we call meta tags. So it's got the album art, the lyrics, and the title. Are you able to, either in a current release or in a future release, bring in the data so it actually shows the album artwork and the lyrics tag for folks, just as though they had downloaded it and synced it over to their iPod?
Oh, that's definitely something I can look into, since I'm just storing an MP3 file. I haven't seen any examples of that being done, but that's something I should definitely check into then if I was going to be the first. It makes a lot more sense if I'm storing the data as opposed to streaming it. But as I said, the whole downloading is a newer thing to me, because I originally didn't know how. Just programming for the SDK for a couple months, but now I have some more experience, and it's definitely something I can look into. That'd be a great feature.
That would be an excellent feature, because let me just explain. Recently, I did episode 369 of My Crazy Life podcast. And it was an episode where I talked about the fact that one of our GSPN.TV Plus listeners, a member of our community who is a great inspiration to me and an encouragement to me, he recently passed away. And of course, it was something that we knew was going to happen. He was diagnosed with Lou Gehrig's disease. And I shared, it was an episode titled Remembering Chuck. And you can listen to that over at mycrazylifepodcast.com, episode number 369. And on the iPhone, one of the nice features is that you can actually use the lyrics tag to put as much text in there as you want in the meta tag. And I actually took the email that Chuck had written to me, and I took all the text of it, put it in the lyrics tag. And if you actually download that MP3 file from iTunes and then sync it over to your iPhone or iPod Touch, when you actually open it up in the podcast player, obviously it shows the album artwork, but it also shows the album artwork darkened out by default if there's lyrics tags, and it actually shows the entire text of that letter that people could scroll through and read as well. And also, for me personally as a podcaster, I put a lot of sometimes funny information, sometimes marketing information. Like, for example, I'll say, "Hey, you're listening. This episode is an episode that we're releasing to you for free. However, if you would like to make sure that you get every episode of this particular podcast, you can find out more details at gspn.tv/plus. If you have any questions or concerns about paying for content, I'd love to hear your feedback at feedback@gspn.tv." And that's all written out in the lyrics tag, and it's a great way to communicate to my audience. And I recognize that most of the people who have my application are already paying subscribers of my content, but you can see the real possibility and the benefit for those who are using your applications in the future to have that as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Very cool. So, okay, let's talk about. So basically, we're looking at GSPN.TV iPhone application version 2.0 coming out soon. About what would be the time frame people might be able to expect something like that?
Apple has gotten a lot better than when they first started doing this summer. They obviously hired a lot more people to go through applications. So as long as there's no problems with it, and I don't see why there should be this time, it can take anywhere from a couple days to 2 weeks.
Okay.
So I'm thinking probably a week is a good time frame from Monday when I send it to Apple.
Absolutely awesome. So very cool. Matter of fact, I'm going to just go ahead and title this iPhone app, or GSPN.TV iPhone app 2.0 coming soon.
Yes.
Very cool. So James, let's talk about what's exciting for you. Obviously, we've gotten all the cool stuff that about our iPhone application in here. Let's talk about this service. What was the name of it again?
Okay, it's the Zaps.com 2-minute iPhone app. Because what it does, it takes you 2 minutes, or the podcast owner 2 minutes to submit their information, and within 2 business days, we're going to either send you. We're not sure how we're going to do it yet. We're either going to send you a zip file that includes the entire source code. You're going to have the entire source code to an iPhone application that you can do whatever you want with. You can either send it to Apple yourself, or you can have us send it to you, or we're going to send you a link where you can download it.
Okay. And basically this zipped file. Now, if you can actually, anybody can download the iPhone SDK for free. I actually did this when I was working with you and played around and decided, okay, no, I'm not going to be able to do any of this stuff. I went through and finally, it's a pain in the butt to delete, by the way. So folks that are out there playing with your Macs and stuff like that, it's not as quick and easy as just dragging and dropping the application icon to your recycle bin. So be cautious of downloading the SDK.
Yeah, and it's also I think a 2 gigabyte or like 1.7 gigabyte download. So it's not a very, I mean, I know everyone has broadband these days, but it's still a very, very big file.
Yeah, and the big concern there is if you decide you don't want this SDK on your drive, getting it off is not as easy as just dragging it. So be careful about that. So let me ask you, obviously if they don't have the SDK, they're not going to be able to use the zip file. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. That's why we're also offering the service that since I already have a developer account,
yes,
I can just do it for you. I can put it on my version of the App Store. I know some people. I offer the feature to actually own the source code because I know a lot of people who would think about buying the source code understand that it's actually a better idea, and you could have your own version of the App Store. So, say you had the gspn.tv, like you would have your own. It would be under your name instead of my company name.
Right.
And I know it doesn't matter to some. That's why I offer the ability to do that. But if you want that, it's also there too.
Now, obviously, to be able to play with it and use it on their own, now do they need to have the SDK to even submit it to Apple?
Actually, they do just to they have to put their like ID number in.
Okay.
Their app ID. That's all they have to do. It's very simple. Apple gives you instructions if they wanted to do it.
Okay. So let's talk about your service, the website address that's going to be launched on Monday, which has already been launched for those of you who listen via podcast. That website address is, one more time,
xzapps.com/podcasting.
/podcasting. Very
Yes.
good. And now tell us, so we're going to be able to go there and pretty much, do we register for a username and password with you? Is that what we're doing first?
Well, what you do, it actually just the only thing on the screen is the order form. You have a title, so the title of your podcast. It's actually limited to 12 characters, just because that's all that fits on the home screen.
Okay.
If it gets more than 12, you get a whole bunch of dots. It doesn't look too cool. Then you have your feed. Now that's just your RSS feed that you want to do. We can do video or audio podcasts, both work.
Okay.
We also have a logo, where this is going to be the logo that shows up. The little button thumbnail that you click. That has to be a certain size file, but we can just fix that for you. And then you also have the option of picking a color, where you can pick a color scheme for your title bar.
Oh.
Most people want to have black or like the standard blue. But if you somehow I saw your other podcast about the green world, they might want a green background, and they all colors look fine. It's just another thing that you can kind of just make it a little more customized to yourself.
Absolutely. Very cool. So they enter in the name of it. They give you some artwork for the icon on the home screen. They choose a color background. They put the feed in, and then what happens? Walk me through the process.
Then you're just gonna hit next, and you're going to that's when you're gonna be asked to make an account just so that we can send you the files and know like where your email address is and stuff. And then it's gonna take you to PayPal, and once you pay via PayPal, you'll get a confirmation email. And within 2 business days, you'll have either the source code or we'll tell you that it's been submitted to Apple, depending on what options you pick in there.
Very cool. So I'm going to ask you some questions here. There are 2 options. One is that you produce and give them the documentation and all the source code, or you do it for them. So there's 2 different pricing options. What's the pricing that we're looking at for just creating the app and getting the source code yourself? What's that cost?
Well, actually, both of them, as of right now, they're both going to be the same price. So even though it's a little extra work on my end to submit it to Apple, we're not going to charge anything as of right now. The pricing it's $499, and I know it seems a little steep, but the thing is, it's such a great advertising tool for your podcast, especially a lesser known podcast, to be able to say that you have an iPhone app. And especially since most of these people are going to put these applications up for free, it gives you such a big audience of people. Like we said, there's over 10 million iPhone users.
Exactly.
Okay, so yeah, the service is $499. But for all your listeners, we have a promo code. It's just AnswerMan, and you're going to get 10% off. And of course, it's going to be free to put on the App Store for you.
Absolutely. Very cool. So using promo code AnswerMan, all one word, you get 10% off. And folks, and let me tell you, I'll be honest with you, we're not going to discuss the actual price. I paid more than that for mine, and obviously I don't mind because he spent a whole lot more time developing this thing than basically what I did. And not only that, but I have, like I said, he did a lot of extra work to be able to get my password protected feeds to work. So mine's a bit more detailed, but even still, $499, you're going to get, what is that? You're going to get almost $50 off. You're going to get $50 off just by using my promo code AnswerMan. It is so worth it. If you can afford it, this is an excellent way. Number one, you're not going to get screwed by Apple. You are going to get a good release date, which means that people are still out there. They're always looking. I mean, 10 million iPhones out there. People are still looking every day to see what's new. The new category. And so you're not. We already know that Apple's now finally approving these, us podcasters to get put in there. And I'll tell you, it's a great way to get your stuff out there, especially if you have already a large audience. I'm really looking forward to seeing version 2.0 come out for our GSPN.TV application. The downloading feature is going to be awesome. Let's just say somebody does purchase this product from you, and 3 months down the road, you're able to figure out how to integrate the ability to read those meta tags, so that you're actually displaying the album artwork and the lyrics tag and title and stuff. How have you considered? Obviously, we just threw that out to you today. Is that something they can maybe spend a small fee to upgrade to that feature?
No, I mean that's all going to be included. That's why you're going to create an account, and you're always going to have access to the updated, most updated version of this framework. So if down the road I come out with, say a version 3.0, you're going to get an email for that. I mean, you paid once. I'm not going to make you pay to upgrade.
Awesome.
So yeah, there's no need to pay again. I mean, you're always going to have access to the most updated feeds, the most updated framework, and I can set that all up on my end. And it might take a couple of days after it's released, but you will all have access to the newest version.
Very cool. Now, is your company going to be on Twitter? This new service that you have? Are you guys going to have a Twitter account, or can we follow you on Twitter and stuff like that?
I actually do not have a Twitter account, but I guess I should make one, and it would just be, the username would just be Zaps. I'll actually just create that right now.
Yeah, you better create that one right now.
So just XZAPPS, and that will be it. And we'll just keep you updated with the most current information. See, I mean, hopefully we don't have any problems, but any new features, any promotions we're doing.
Very cool stuff. James, I'm very excited for you. At 19 years old, and you've got this business happening. Exciting things. More and more podcasters are coming on board every single day. I think this is great, and I'm glad to be able to promote you and what you're doing, and I thank you for all the hard work you put into my application. I'm so glad that we're seeing the updates coming through, and you're still working on this. If you don't mind, I'd love to just ask you. I know you've been kept busy with this one. Is there anything on the horizon? Some other applications that you're looking at creating?
I'm working on a couple other things. I'm working with 2 startup companies, one in New York, one in San Francisco. Working on just some cool iPhone features, integrating anywhere from GPS to contact list and things like this. I'm also working on this. This is a podcasting framework. I'm also working on one for like newspapers and just regular RSS feeds. So that's going to be the next thing that's coming out of Zaps. Probably will be instead of just the 2-minute podcasting app, the 2-minute like magazine or newspaper application. Because I've done some work with those, and it's pretty much the same thing, but you have to do things a little differently. You're not working with images and video and audio. you're working with, text and like differently formatted images. So that's the new thing coming out. And then with my normal iPhone work, that's at jdubstudios.com. I'm always looking for, just some small projects here and there. If you think you have a good idea, we always have a good number of applications going on over there.
Very cool. Well, James, again, I want to thank you and everybody. You can check them out over at zaps.com/podcastings. That's, XZAPPS.com/podcasting. And James, thank you so much for participating in the show.
Thanks for having me on.
Glad to have you, man. All right, well, that was an awesome conversation with James, my iPhone developer. 19 years old, guys. Can you imagine how awesome is podcasting? How awesome is new media? How awesome is technology? Just to think that, you can, with some talent and some passion and just some, drive and energy and determination, it's amazing what you can do out there. And I'm very excited about this service, guys. I recognize there are a lot of you who are listening to Podcast Answer Man, and $459 after the 10% off. That sounds like a big chunk of change, and it is. It really is. But it's going to get you out there, and I don't know when I would say that it's time to think about it. I think that's your decision. It's your call if you want to participate. I just want to let you know that James did not pay anything to be interviewed. There's absolutely nothing at all that he paid for this. I just wanted to let you guys know that this is the guy behind the curtain that made my iPhone application happen. He worked with me as Apple was giving me a hard time. He made what I want to happen. And I certainly didn't make it easy for him with the user authentication, that's for sure. But he made it happen, and I'm excited to hear that we're going to get some download possibilities. I've obviously put the bug in his ear about the meta tags, and it's pretty exciting. I must say that for me personally, I feel a little bit excited about the fact that I was among the first of podcasters to have a podcasting application. Certainly have a lot of people asking me about it, and that's why I felt like this would be a good conversation to have. Hey, I want to mention one other thing real quickly here. I've made a big, huge decision just recently, and I've decided that all the episodes of Podcast Answer Man are going to be available for free. And those of you, if you've actually signed up as a GSPN.TV Plus member only because some episodes were going to be held back for free, email me, feedback@gspn.tv. I'll work with you, talk with you. I'll even give you a refund if you need it. Let me explain to you why. Number one, the Podcast Answer Man is the one show that is a little bit separate from all the other shows over at gspn.tv that I produce. I still believe, hands down, this podcast that you're listening to, bar none, is worth $10 a month. And I'm just going to flat out ask you to support this content. And the easiest way is just to become a GSPN.TV Plus member. And I guarantee you, there's no question that the content that you're getting here, the answers that you get here, is worth $10 a month. And so if you can afford it, I ask that you do it. There are two other ways that you can support this content, and I figure I want to ask you on every occasion because this is my marketing. This is the way I get the word out about who I am, what I'm doing here. The other way is that you can buy your audio equipment from me. Heil PR40s, I can't tell you the price that I'm selling them for right now, but you want to contact me, I guarantee. If you've been thinking about a Heil PR40, you need to contact me because I'm selling them at a price that I'm just literally just not allowed to advertise. So there's this thing called minimum advertised price. But if you contact me, I'm allowed to tell you the price. So feedback@gspn.tv. Also, a third way is to hire me to consult with you. I'd love to either take just an hour, maybe 2 or 3 hours, walk you through how to get your WordPress set up on GoDaddy and how to customize a theme or at least tweak it. Go over to mediavoiceovers.com, go to growingagreenerworld.com, head on over to podcastanswerman.com. You'll see that those are all the same WordPress template, but they certainly look different in each place. Within an hour or two, usually we can get some stuff done to make your podcast look absolutely fantastic. Not only that, but I can also work with you consulting on answering any of those basic questions, how to get those RSS feeds set up and stuff like that. I've decided to not release only certain episodes because you know what? I want to be able to use this podcast to just make sure I'm getting my message out of all the things that I offer through Podcast Answer Man, through my consulting equipment sales. This is a great way to do it. So for those of you who are subscribed, you may have noticed that in your podcast feed, all of a sudden you saw a bunch of old podcasts automatically show up. And that's because there were about eight or so episodes that were released only to Plus members. I'm going to go ahead and instantly put those into the feeds so you have all those back episodes. But not only that, but from this point forward, you're going to see every single episode come out. And folks, that's all I have for you. You can always, excuse me, I've got a little bronchitis here. But anyway, you can always leave us some feedback by sending us an email to feedback@gspn.tv. That's how you can get your questions in via email. You can also go over to gspn.tv/forum. There's a Podcast Answer Man section there. I very much do give a little priority to those who are asking questions in that forum if you happen to have the Plus member tag on there in the badge. And of course, you can always contact us over at area code 859-795-4067. Thanks a lot.